Not first, okay, now we start recording. I'm very new to this stuff, so I'm not even going to preface this whole conversation by saying I'm not sure whether it's flat because I've seen so much information and I mean, there's so much we can see by ourselves, but there's so much suppression of information. There's so much
Sure.
whoever's out there saying not don't trust our senses. Um, what we are saying is the truth. Just trust us. So it's so obvious when someone says it, but it's so strange that we do not see it ourselves after so long.
Right. Hey,
Yeah.
move your microphone just a little bit away. It's making a lot of popping noises.
Okay. I
There
need
you go. That's better. There you go. You did it.
oh man, a tiny erection. Yeah. Perfect.
All
Okay.
right. So what's the question?
I guess it's so obvious, but it's so obvious in right in our faces, but we don't see it. And I guess the best way for you to just do your usual presentation, because that was the one that really got me, where you did back to back facts about why it's flat, back to back facts in showing um, against what we've been taught.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot when you look into flat Earth, it's people have a misconception of what it is. They think it's a disc flying in space. Well, that's not the case. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a balloon that's up at 120,000 feet. Does that sun look like it's 93 million miles away, or does it look very local?
Now that I know, I would say it's local, but back then I wouldn't have known.
Yeah. I mean, the mind control is crazy. This is, where they tell us we live. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour, chasing the sun at a half a million miles an hour. That entire system is moving sideways at 1.2 million miles per hour. And while all of that's going on, we have lakes that are perfect glass mirrors, right? Hysterical, right?
But
I
okay, so
mean,
their
bad.
their argument is gravity, and I'm sure you're gonna explain about why it's a fallacy as well.
So gravity is holding on these lakes, and in Australia, it's holding trillions of tons of water and cruise ships and cargo ships upside down. So up is this way, and our down, down is this way for Australia, and down is this way for us. When in fact, down is down. Australia, America, you know, Santiago, down is down for everybody across the earth plane. It's very simple.
I can't believe I've not seen this. I have not noticed it. And it's right in front of us. All we have to do is just look up and you trust our senses. It's fucking insane, man.
It's because the programming started before we can talk. Our we every we're in kids cartoons and television shows are all about space,
Yeah.
all about the globe. School, little kids look at their homework, their worksheets. It's about the moon and the planets. It's like they're brainwashing kids when their brains are absorbing everything. And it's the lie is so big that adults can't unprogram them. Many adults can't unprogram themselves.
I
But
see.
once you see the difference, once you actually start looking at it, it's the people are like, well, there's so much science for the globe. There is no science for the globe. There's just pseudoscience. It's none of it makes any sense whatsoever. So think about gravity, right? So we're told that this is out of scale, of course, but this giant burning gas ball has so much gravity, it's holding the earth onto it. So we're falling indefinitely around this sun, okay, in an orbit that never changes, that repeats every year. It doesn't vary at all, flying through an infinite vacuum. That's crazy in itself. And somehow, this smaller ball, closer to us, again, not to scale, is being held on by our gravity and falling around the earth, even though the earth is traveling in four different directions at once. This ball always has one side facing the earth. It always is in the exact location that it's supposed to be. It repeats its cycle every 28 and a half days or whatever it is, and it never varies. What happens when the moon goes in between the earth and the sun? How come the sun's gravity doesn't rip it away from the earth, or at least tug it just a little bit? right?
Yeah, I never asked that question. I can't believe how.
So check this out. With today's modern computers, you get the biggest supercomputer ever, and you can make a program, and you put in the program, make a gravity program, and you say, okay, I've got the sun, it's got this big, it's got this much gravity, and then I got the Earth, and it's smaller, it's got this much gravity, and you could set them in orbit, and that will work like a perfect clock. You can predict where it's going to be tomorrow, in 10 weeks, 1,000 years. It'll work perfectly. Then you introduce one other body, either a moon going around the Earth or another planet going around the sun, and the entire system falls apart, never repeats, it goes into pure chaos. Okay. That's just with three bodies. It's called the three body problem, right? With all of our planets in our solar system alone and the moons, there's like 80 objects. It's ridiculous. We had this big alignment, and on the 21st, all the planets were in the sky at once. How come they didn't pull on each other? How come it works perfectly? How come everything resets year after year after year? The stars are all in the exact same position, right? So we're spinning and twirling and whirling out of control, right? Out of control. All of these motions, right? Do you know where are you located?
Singapore.
You're in Singapore. So there's monuments all over the world, but here in America, we have this really creepy monument called the Georgia
Oh
Guidestones.
shit, I seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So besides all the creepy commandments on there, especially the one that says never let the world population
500
increase over
million.
500 million
Yeah.
again, there's a hole, a long thin hole in the center stone,
There.
and when you look through it, you can see the North Star. If you do a time lapse, the North Star will always be in this hole. This thing has been
Really?
up for 4 decades.
What the
We're
fuck?
twirling, whirling, and swirling in all these directions, but the North Star is always through that hole.
But this monument has been there for 400 years.
No, 40 since the
40 years.
1980.
Some
50 years.
guy
50 years.
erected some guy commissioned someone to create
Yeah,
this, right? And he can't even find the person who did it.
it costs a lot of money, a couple $100,000, or maybe even, I don't even know what it was, but it wasn't made only to work for a little while, right? They
Yeah.
tell us, science says, in 40,000 years, we're going to have a Thuban's going to be our North Star. It's not going to be Polaris because the Earth is wobbling. Well, they didn't build this thing not to work. It's been up for over 4 decades. And if the North Star was moving, it would be gone out of this hole. It can't move a degree without getting out of this hole. Meanwhile, 6 months apart, the Earth is 186,000 miles on the other side of the sun, plus all the distance we've traveled and curved around the solar system. It's insanity
What do you
to
think they're
believe
trying to
that the
say
Earth
over
is
here
moving.
with the monument pointing right at the North Star?
Say it again.
What do you think they're trying to say by creating a monument like that to point right at the North Star with the
Well,
hole right
they're
there?
they're showing us that the Earth is flat and stationary, and they're literally telling us. There's also another slit in there, a slit in one of the stones that has like angled sides. And if you go to one side, that's the summer solstice, and you go to the other side, that's the winter solstice. The sun will line up with it. So it's a calendar, it's a clock, it's amazing.
Bastards.
And it never moves. All of the old pyramids, they line up with Orion's belt and whatnot. But this stone right here, proves that the Earth doesn't move, and the sun and the stars in the sky circle above us on a flat, stationary plane.
When I first saw this, right, I just felt like everything just made so much sense. This by itself made more sense than twirling around. And I didn't even think about it. This is crazy, man.
Large bodies of water at rest lay flat.
Yeah.
Okay. All of the continents of the world are surrounded by water, but the world ocean, all of these continents are surrounded by water, but the world's ocean is surrounded by land. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It is the container of the world's ocean. If there was no container, the water would just go away.
I recently just watched Sorry Antarctica were closed. And
Very
I think
good, by Taboo
yeah,
Conspiracy, one of my favorite videos. And
that one's really good. But has anyone really physically tried going there? Like physically? I mean,
yes, yeah, there was one guy, I forget his name. I don't want to guess it because I'll probably be way off, but
yeah.
his country, some random country, gave him permission to go explore Antarctica. And before he even got there, he was stopped by military force, threatened to be sunk, turned around, sent home. And when he got home, he was jailed.
he got jailed. So is this even legal or what? I mean,
Is anything that's going on today legal? Look what's going on in the world, man. These are the people that run the world, and there's a treaty. So legal, well, legally you can't go to Antarctica.
I want to ask you, right? This whole thing. Do you? I mean, if all this is happening, right? I just feel like it somehow has to happen. Do you feel like some kind of school, some kind of every 100 years the reset, right? Do you think it's kind of like a graduation? Those who see it maybe graduate outside of the ice wall. Maybe they move
Y-
outside. Maybe
I keep thinking this is an intelligence test, and they're literally
there
separating
has to be
out.
intelligence. Yeah, yeah,
They're trying to go for this reset. They're trying to depopulate the world. In 100 years ago,
yeah.
we had the Spanish flu. Everybody was wearing masks and everybody was getting vaccinated, and there was a massive die off, right? So, what was the die off from? You know, it's a lot of what's going on today. So, do they do this reset because humanity keeps waking up and they need to just get rid of all of the old people to get rid of all of the knowledge of the past and then reset everyone's brains and maintain control of this world? We're living in, I call it the matrix for our mind, right? The globe is a prison for your mind. It makes you think that you're insignificant, that you're flying through infinite space, that there's, that you have no power, when the truth is we're at the center of creation. We are powerful spiritual beings that have incredible power with our minds. It's like Neo in the Matrix. At the beginning, he's lost in space. He doesn't know where he is. He's trapped in the mind matrix. And then at the end, he figures out who he is, where he is, what he is, and the power of his mind. That's exactly what this is about. Dave, with all of the stuff going on in the world, why the hell are you talking about flat earth? Right? Because this is the most important topic
Yeah.
of our time. Because if we get our freedoms back, how long will we hold on to it if we don't know who we are, where we are, what we are? How long will we hold on to it if we think we live on a spinning magical ball flying through an infinite vacuum? It's a fairy tale, and if you don't know where you are, you can't make the best rational decisions.
I want to know what's out there. What's
In the
across?
outer space,
Yeah, that's what I
the
want to know. What
outer
the fuck's going out
space,
there?
yeah, maybe there's more land and more oceans out
Yeah.
there. Maybe there's extra territory, extra terra, and people that come from there, you might want to call them extraterrestrials. Okay, across the earth plane. Maybe there's
I
another
was.
sun out here.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sorry.
there's another sun out here.
Yeah. So you were saying before in many of your interviews that you were some kind of a hardcore atheist, right? I myself, I've had some experiences in church, but I've never been a religious guy. Once,
Me neither.
I've checked out many videos, and once those conspiracy people, right, they go into like, oh, but you got to trust in Jesus. I'm a motherfucker. I just click on the X and I just leave. I just go some other some other video. But after seeing this, right, this circular pattern, especially when you did the one how the wind floats in a circle. I mean, I had to just drop everything and consider the fact that there is some form of intelligent hand behind everything.
It's intelligently designed. So
It,
that's it.
it's very
I can't.
confrontational.
The Earth is intelligently designed. Period. Okay. What would be less spectacular than the flat Earth being created by a random accident would be a tornado going through a junkyard and building a fleet of 747s. Okay. Okay. That would be less spectacular. This world is a designed place. Now, that's your own journey to figure out who that creator is, that designer. That's everyone's personal journey. But again, they've divided us so many ways. There is a passage in the Bible, and I'm not the Bible guy. My co-host is comes from the biblical side, and basically it says, once you see my creation, you no longer have any excuse to deny my existence. And I think that's what the Luciferian sadists that are running this world don't want. They don't want us in a situation where we can't deny a creator. Because once you see the creator, it changes everything. Now, I'm not religious, all right? I was always a good person, but things are different once you understand where you live and that you're not lost in space, spinning out of control.
Yeah, you did many podcasts with people, right? And then you showed them, and then it's almost you come to a point where they have no choice but to accept the fact that it's flat. And then they usually say, "Oh, so who cares whether the Earth is flat or not?" I literally scream at the screen, and I was like, saying, "It's so obvious. I mean, the implications are so huge. Like once you consider
So
that,
huge,
yeah, it's so
right?
important. I don't see how people can come up even ask that question. I mean, it's so obvious."
It's yeah, when I hear that, it really it frustrates me a little bit because it's so important. Like you don't care who you are, where you are. You want to live in a complete lie of your whole existence, right? That takes away so much more than you can even fathom. It's amazing.
Do you think it's a fear issue, like because they don't love life so much to be very curious about where they are, they give in the fear, so they settle with mediocrity, mediocre life, or do you think something like that, or
Well, there are a lot of people that have, that are living good lives, that are doing well, that are using the power of their mind, that have either just a good person or they found the creator and they understand that there is a creator and they're doing fine, but they're still slightly lost. They think they're on a spinning ball flying through nowhere. So imagine if that person really planted their feet down on the ground, understood that they're a center of creation. I think they would excel even further. It's the group of flat earthers that when we get together, it's such an amazing group of people. They're just so awake and aware and alive and happy.
do you guys have any plans in the future of exploring Antarctica in any way? Like how do we even get across it? How the hell do we get across it? And they're
Yeah,
squeezing
so
us with
we're working
laws.
with a television a show that wants to do a, series on flat earthers, and they're looking for experiments that we can do. And one of them is we want to go to Antarctica in December and film the 24-hour sun because
You
we
gotta do
don't
that
believe it
wearing a mask,
exists.
man, so
What's that?
you gotta do that wearing a mask, 5 masks.
Yeah, five masks. Well, that's going to be a problem. That's going to
Yeah.
be a problem.
But okay, so if you were to do that, right, when aren't you already expecting someone else to come over and say, "Oh no, you can't do this. You will shoot your boat down." Expecting some kind of
No, we'd actually have to pay for a tourist trip to the edge of the world lake, not the edge of the Antarctica, and we would have to bring equipment and be able to film the 24-hour sun. The question is, it's going to be really tough. I don't know if they're going to ever let us do it. On December 21st, right around that time, you should be able to see the sun circle around without ever losing sight of the sun. But that doesn't happen in Antarctica. It
and what's the
happens in the
reason?
north,
Yeah.
it happens in the north, but it doesn't happen in the south. It should happen in both if the Earth is a globe.
Okay, so what's the reason for saying that you can't do it? What is the reason?
Well, I don't, they haven't said that we can't do it. It's just nobody's ever filmed it. No, there's a couple of fake videos
Yeah, they
of the
skip time. Yeah.
24-hour sun. They're
Yeah.
horrible. They're horrible.
Okay, sorry, I totally veered off right there. Maybe you can continue with your presentation and
No, that's good. Let me show my app
yeah.
and show you how you can learn about the flat Earth and and how you can get by the Google censorship. So can you see that? Is that up on the screen, nice and big?
Yeah, seems yeah.
Have you seen my app?
Yeah, yeah, and I've got something against buying apps online, so I just decided not
That's
to
all
buy
right.
anything.
That's okay. You don't have to get it, but the app is a good way to show you how the Earth is a perfect clock. The sun is on the hour hand. I'll speed it up. And wherever the sun is, it's noon, and it goes around once a day. So it's a clock, and it shows you that the where the hours are, and it keeps track of the hours and the days. You can see it's gaining distance on the moon. It'll lap the moon every 28 days. So the moon's phase and position keeps track of the weeks and the months, and they both just circle over the flat Earth. And you can see, where the moon is uh, every day. On top of that, you can put on the stars. The stars spin slightly faster than the sun. So the sun will spend about a month in each zodiac. So Pisces is going to catch up to the sun next. It'll stay in there for a month. It'll work its way through, and the stars will lap the sun once a year. In the heliocentric model, none of this would make sense. None of this could happen, right? This repeats again and again, decade after decade, century after century. Um, so when you search flat Earth, you lose. You don't get anything good. You get the Flat Earth Society, you get garbage videos, you get stuff to send you off the track. What the app does, the app will feed you every video, all the good information. So if I let me stop the time lapse, turn off the
Yeah.
time.
This looks like a
Time's up.
real clock.
What's that?
This looks like a real clock.
Yeah, well, it is the clock. The sky clock is the only real clock. You know how they fooled us? They're like, hey, we'll give them clocks, but we'll make the hour hand go around twice a day. They don't figure it out. Okay. So every day
Oh,
there's a new
shit.
video down here, um the featured video of the day. And I say, just watch the video every day. You know, when you're having breakfast, watch the video every day. And then within 2 weeks, you'll know that the earth is not a ball. You can hit the frequently asked questions button, and up will come all the questions like, what about ships over the horizon? You know, we can see too far, or you know, what about satellites and GPS? Um, there's all sorts of stuff. So if you click one of those, like why the lie, up come a playlist of videos that Google won't serve you. And these videos will give you information that you may never have found. It has all sorts of other information on here too, from mud floods to other interesting shows. All my interviews, including this one, will be here in the interview panel. Um, Playlists in different languages. Does a lot of stuff. Compass, where the north is the center, south is every direction away from the center, and east and west are circles around the center. So what no one has ever done is gone from Santiago, Chile, to Australia by cutting underneath the ball. So no one has ever taken this route. No one's ever done that, or even gone around Antarctica. You know, you don't want to fly over Antarctica. No one's ever done that. That is the shortest route. And when you look at it, um, it's because, you know, on a globe, this makes no sense. They go all the way up, all the way across and down. If you want to go to the other side of Australia, they go all the way up to America, across to Europe and Dubai, and then all the way down. But if you look at that on a flat Earth map, check it out. So we go all the way up across America to Europe, Dubai, and all the way over. It's a straight line.
Yeah, this is the one that got me. It's so obvious.
Yeah, it's a straight line. There's so many. Um, there's a book called 16 Emergency Landings That Prove the Earth is Flat, and basically it just shows you that planes that have to that had to take emergency landings make these ridiculous stops if the Earth is a globe. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Let me show you an example of one of those. Um, so a flight from Singapore, from Taiwan to LA. So
Mhm.
this is the way it should go. Here's Hawaii right here. So right about here, there was an emergency. They could have gone back. They could have gone to Taiwan. They could have gone all the way over to LA, but instead they went all the way up to Alaska, all the way up to Alaska. That's crazy. But if you look at it, they went, here was the emergency. So they just went to Alaska right there, straight line.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Piss me off.
It's amazing. Though, here's the thing, people, you know, it's so hard to take all this in, but then you take it in and you get over the being pissed off and angry, and you take your power back. You literally stop feeding into the matrix. Because when you wake up to flat Earth, you wake up to other things like nuclear bombs aren't real, asteroids aren't real, fuel shortages aren't real, free energy exists, there's unlimited food and water, right? Terrorists aren't real. All of this stuff, all of this fear goes away. And when you have no fear, you're a better person. When you're living in fear, deep inside your, you know, inside your mind, fear of all of these things, fear of everything that they show you on the news, you become a you know, more of a selfish person, more of a self, you know, you're always looking
Yeah.
to take care of yourself more than the way we're meant to be. We're supposed to take care of each other. We're all supposed to be in this together. So if there's no fear, you live a better life. I say we have these flat earth conferences. If I drop my wallet in a flat earth conference, I guarantee somebody would return it to me. Okay, they wouldn't take the money
Do you
because
think? Yeah, sorry. So do
Go
you
ahead.
think in a metaphysical sense, right? Do you think this whole fear phase in a sense is necessary for us to learn something, or do you feel like we can totally do without it and just live life of somewhat bliss, I guess, and still learn the same lessons or even better lessons or
So I
experiences?
think that, not knowing who you are is part of, denying the creator is part of, it stifles your spiritual growth. Your soul, we're here having a soul's journey. Your soul knows the truth. Your conscious mind has been hijacked, been put in a prison, a matrix. And that when you're separated from your soul's journey, it's you kind of get depressed, you kind of get unhealthy, all sorts of stuff happens. But when you literally ground yourself and find out who you are, where you are, what you are, realize that you're here on a mission to expand consciousness, then things start working out, life
But
gets
isn't that
better.
the experience as well? The experience to experience disconnect and then somehow find a way back. Do you feel like that has value in it as well, or
What's the question?
do you feel like to experience disconnect from who we are and then finding our way back? Do you feel like that by itself is the experience or something like that? Why
Well,
would you?
part of my journey was waking up to the deception, so that was fun. Now I'm awake to it. That was fun. So it's amazing. Every day is a blessing, and there's so much to learn. I'm never bored at all. There's so much going on. So what is this place? Fascinating. It's
Do
amazing.
you
There's
feel
so
like
much we don't know.
if you didn't go through all that, right, you would appreciate all whatever you know now lesser or more, or or is this no
You
difference?
know, you know what? I often like, can't you just freaking let me have it, right? But I have
Yeah,
to struggle through this whole journey.
yeah, yeah.
And it's part of it. It's part of the journey. We're here. We're here. The way I look at it, it's an amusement park. We're on a roller coaster. So
Yeah,
you better like roller coasters, and you better like puzzles because it's
yeah.
a big puzzle too.
Yeah, it feels like all this we kind of planned this, right? We kind of consented to come here knowing all this would have happened. If not, I don't see how all this would happen. I don't even know how to
It's
explain.
yeah. So now that you see the globe lie, how do you feel?
Um, feel emancipated. I feel lighter. I feel like there's more meaning. Things are
There you
more
go.
obvious. I feel,
That's important right there.
yeah,
If you sit and you meditate and you think, all right, I'm spinning, I'm twirling, I'm whirling, and I'm rocketing in 4 different directions at once, you'll probably just feel awful. Then you sit and meditate. I'm on the foundation of the universe. Everything in the sky is rotating above me. I'm stationary on a rock solid surface. You feel better. You feel it lifts your spirit. You feel more grounded and you can operate better. Just having that 5-minute meditation a day, understanding that you're on a stable, stationary plane, can change your entire life.
I see. Yeah, I guess just continue with your presentation because I've got some questions to ask here, but I think I just leave it after the whole thing. I don't want to ruin your vibe, so don't want to
No, no, that's
break the
it. I
pace.
mean, what anything else? I mean, there's so much. I mean, you understand that all the space agencies are
Yeah.
nonsense, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
it's
Sorry.
all
So just before that, right?
pseudoscience.
So how about all these channelers and all these people who so-called uh claim that they've been abducted and went into space, they've seen space from outside. But I noticed that some of them don't exactly say that the Earth is round, the planet is round. I'm not sure they know it or not. So where does that leave those kind of information? Are they mind control
Yeah.
or
So that's a
strange?
good question. So I used to I'd been many times to Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you know who they are.
Esther
And
Hicks, right? The husband passed away recently.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Jerry passed away, and I actually met with Esther, and she's this like simple little nice woman. When she's not channeling Abraham, she's not that person.
Mm,
So she's channeling something. Okay, this is my belief. She's channeling some sorts of information, and the way she explained it to me was that she asks the question, and then the information comes to her, and then she translates it into words wrapped around her world belief. So if I took a flat earther and a globe earther on a balloon to 120,000 feet, the globe earther would see a sphere and the flat earther would see a flat earth, because you're wrapping this stuff around your world belief. And so that's how you see things. So again, these channelers that, the ones that come out outright and say that the earth is not flat, well, they're not channeling properly, or they're lying, they're making up stuff, and they're just a scam artist. So there are scam artists out there, but I also believe that there is people that are picking up on source. Right now, you and I are doing it. Our thoughts are not just in our head, they're outside of our bodies, and we're allowing them in, and we're translating them into words and wrapping them around our world belief. If you look at an astrologer gets good information on positions of planets and movements and everything, but their world belief says, well, that planet's a giant rock. Excuse me.
It's
Their
COVID.
planet's a giant rock, and it's 25 million miles away, and they have all these different beliefs, and they wrap it around their globe, and they're an astrologer. They get some stuff right, that's fine. But an astrologer that wraps it over a flat stationary earth and understands that all of those things are energetic sources right within our solar system, or in our earth system, they're a more powerful astrologer. This is a star. This is a star within the earth system,
That
right?
does not look like a planet, man. This is
No, that's a star.
yeah.
It's the star Arcturus, and you can look at it yourself. You can get a P900 camera, zoom in on it. It's amazing. It's small, and it's here within the earth system. Here's Capella. Okay. The amazing, right? These things. These are energetic. To me, I think they're sentient in nature. They sure look like it. Right. So what are they? I don't know.
I mean, the
Right.
flashing like that, it looks like that diverting or channeling something into
Right.
a plane. Yeah. Oh, fucking insane.
So this is stuff that's all within our sky. This is, I don't have the words for what these are. Right. I think that, our souls come from the heavens above, and they're delivered here into human bodies by the spark of God. I don't know how else to say it. And maybe the moon has something to do with the delivery and removal of souls. I don't know. It's interesting stuff, though.
Right. So I guess Stephen Greer is bullshit and
You know what? Interesting. Stephen Greer.
oh,
Well, extraterrestrials. He might be. Maybe he's wrapping it around his ball
yeah,
belief. And I believe there are extraterrestrials that come from the outer lands, from the
yeah.
extra territory. So maybe he's just thinking they're coming from outer space. Stephen Greer tried to interview, but Neil Armstrong through an associate, that, a mutual friend or something, and the story is that that Neil Armstrong told the friend that if he grants him that interview, they'll kill me and my entire family. Okay.
Yeah.
So these astronauts are forced to lie. They're forced to lie. If you look at the press conference when they came back from the moon, do these guys look like they just come back from the most incredible mission ever? Or do they look like somebody told them that their dog was just shot?
I've seen that video where I think some guy was. I mean, it's his fault as well. But this guy's going around interviewing astronauts, but he's doing it in a way where it's ambushing them. He's telling them to put their hand on the Bible and swear that they
Yeah,
were in space. That's fucking
Bart
crazy.
Sobral.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, why? I don't. If I'm an astronaut, I don't see any reason why if I didn't lie. And the second reason is, why would they have such an adverse reaction and just run off and want to?
Because they're lying. They're lying, and they don't want to swear on the Bible to anything. They're lying. Everything
Fuck,
in
man, this
space
is
is a
just
lie.
oh fuck.
It's all a lie. And people have no idea, the all of these space, there's people are like, well, what about these private companies? Look at Blue Origin. This, besides looking
Fucking
like a
negative.
giant penis, okay, is a friggin' balloon and a CGI construct. I mean, this is nonsense. All right. This is complete and total nonsense.
The best
And
one
it's
is where it's
edited, it's
land
edited
backwards.
like a movie, right? Look at this thing. This is a joke.
Oh,
right? And people believe this stuff. Look at this. And there's a little glitch that happens. I'll zoom back in on that.
mm.
This is a CGI nothing. I mean, this is not real. None of it's real.
Where's the glitch? I don't see it.
It'll come back and show it.
Yeah.
It'll if you watch the top of the rocket, it glitches out right there. You see it? It'll zoom in this time. So there, bam. Okay, and there's worse ones than that. I
So
had another
stupid.
video of another Blue Origin rocket, and the glitch was so bad, the whole top of the half of the rocket disappeared, and that video has disappeared from my channel. I mean, they deleted it without even telling me. I can't find it. It's amazing.
Has your life gotten more dangerous after speaking out like that?
You know what? Fuck them. Okay, I'm not gonna stop. So
Mm.
come and get me. I don't
But
believe that they can do anything. They can just, if I lived in fear, then
Mm.
that's a problem. But I'm not afraid of any of them.
but you've
Right?
gotten threats and,
So,
and whatnot.
yeah. So check this out. Have you ever seen this Russian airplane doing these crazy tricks?
No, yeah.
Right? So people look at this and it makes them believe that, oh, maybe there's rockets can land upright and whatnot. Right? But this has been going around for a while. And the truth is, this is fake. It's not real. This is
Yeah.
complete CGI.
Looks like it's gonna transform or something.
Yeah, it's complete CGI. But with the sound effects, when you hear it with the sound, it looks really real, but it's fake.
So what's the point of making a CGI like that, like this plain thing? Is to insinuate that we have better technology and then or
They want you to believe that, rockets can land upright on floating ships, right? This is from a 1957 movie, a Russian movie, this rocket landing on the ship, right? And this is supposedly Elon landing out on a raft, right? Where there's huge rollers. There's like 10-foot waves out here. You couldn't stand up on that raft. And this little fire is
what
gonna
the fuck?
land it right there. This is programming for your mind, right? Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
What's the thing
Crazy
about
stuff.
Elon? He I don't know, he's some kind of spoof, right? Someone wrote something about something, and then his name was Elon Musk or something, and then what was
Oh
something?
yeah, so
Yeah,
Werner von Braun in 1950s,
yeah.
the German scientist, whatever he was, he wrote a book called Mission to Mars, and the cover of the book, you could just look it up on Amazon, Mission to Mars. The picture of the rocket looks exactly like Elon's rocket that's going to Mars. That's supposed to go to Mars. Biden just kicked the can down the road another 4 years. So that's all they do. They always kick the can down the road. And it was about a civilization living on Mars run by a guy named Elon.
Have we
Okay.
found out what's Elon Musk's real name?
No, he's a puppet. He doesn't run any of the companies that they say he runs. It's all complete and total nonsense.
This whole thing is so stupid.
Yeah. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
And people just believe. People just believe. It's ridiculous. So, there's so much to learn about, all you have to do is find out NASA's lying once. So this is my favorite. We can measure this distance because we can drive across here. We can take a boat at 20 miles an hour, measure that. We can drive across. So we know that this is 934 miles. NASA tells us the diameter of the Earth is 7,917. So we should be able to fit 8.5 of these in between these two red lines. And 8.5 doesn't even fit on the page. Okay. So,
I don't really. Okay.
so either Earth is really tiny and half the continents don't exist, or NASA's lying.
It's so frustrating because this is empirical, metric, measurable, obvious evidence that you can show anyone, and anyone with a brain can at least compare. But then people are just not listening. Right? This is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, everything is provable on a flat earth. It's I say there's three baskets, works on a flat earth, works on a flat earth and a ball earth, and works on just a ball earth. And what you'll find is nothing goes into that last basket. Nothing. Nothing.
Do you have any unsure evidence for the globe Earth or any
Nothing.
very
There's none. I
zero?
offer. I tell people take the Flat Earth app challenge. Send me one proof after you watch the videos for 2 weeks that the Earth is a globe, and I'll give you a Bitcoin.
Okay.
That's worth a lot of money now.
Yeah.
So, final words.
I've written down some questions. Give me
All right, go ahead. No problem. We got a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. All this information is very heavily compartmentalized, like what Bob Lazar was saying. I'm sure he's just doing his job. Bob Lazar just wanted to find about technologies, but this whole compartmentalization of information, do you think that's part of the big problem as well? Like that's how they do it, by compartmentalizing things that we don't know, and those under that don't know, and then they just keep impositioning.
It's all done in the pyramid structure. People don't know. It's compartmentalized. There's people that make satellites, and they think those satellites are going to space, and people are communicating with them. But in reality, the satellites are either going nowhere or they're getting sent up on balloons, and they think that space is real.
Oh, this is the one. I'm looking
NASA,
for videos about the satellites.
yeah, they're on the app, which you don't have. There's a "What about satellites" button, and there's tons of videos in there. Satellites are hanging from balloons.
But the
GPS
functional like that,
doesn't.
right?
Yeah, GPS doesn't use satellites.
So they're just
GPS
toys. They just
is a
props.
ground-based system. What's that?
So they're just props. So
Well, no, they're used for something. They're taking pictures, taking measurements, they're doing all sorts of things. But there's tens of thousands of these things in the air at all times, maybe even hundreds of thousands.
is it possible to look up and find at least one of these satellites dangling to the firmament, or
Well, they're we're told that people think that they can see satellites, but that makes absolutely no sense, because the size of a satellite versus the size, the how your eye can see. Here's a 747, right? The person standing under it would be like an ant, tiny. All right. Then you move a 747 up to cruising altitude and you can barely see it. It's a tiny little dot. Okay.
yeah,
So if I doubled the height, could you see it?
I don't think so.
Of course not. Of course not. Right. Well, the ISS, which is about the same size as this airplane, is 50 times higher, 50 times higher, 50 times higher than this. And you think you could see that? Of course not. And satellites are smaller and even higher. You think you could see those? No, it's ridiculous. So what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing lights in the sky. I don't know what they are. They're small, they're close. The ISS, when you track it, I think the ISS is like a wandering star, which used to be called planets. Okay. I think it's just something on a faster track that is here. It's a luminary of some sort. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing or either. It's not man-made, though.
What do you suggest to people who have huge cognitive dissonance to such information?
I asked them. I would suggest that they try to claim the Bitcoin and give me one proof of the globe. And if they actually try, they'll end up being a flat earther because they won't be able to find any. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I have much lesser questions than I thought I would. I guess it's a good thing because I mean, you gave me quite a number of resources for me to check into later. So I know we said 1.5 hours, but we just end here because I don't think I have much.
Yeah, no, that's good. No problem. No need to push it. What type of phone do you have? An iPhone or an Android?
It's a shitty iPhone. It's barely working.
Shitty iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. Thank you for coming. I just stop recording and probably get more details after I stop recording.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.